In this session, I'm going to talk about writing the introduction, and here we're talking about the Task 2 question of the writing module in IELTS, which of course is an essay question. And as I've talked about in other videos, your essay should consist of an introduction as an individual paragraph, followed by main paragraph 1, main paragraph 2, and then the conclusion. So we're going to talk only about the introduction. Now, what is an introduction? I'm going to say three things about it, really. So basically there are actually only two key parts, which is number one, identify the issue, number two, write a thesis statement. Now, the third point, write less than 100 words, I've put in there just as a reminder that your introduction should not include any particular reasons or any of the main ideas and supporting points, because they go in a separate paragraph that follows the introduction. So we're going to look mainly at these two parts, identify the issue and write a thesis statement. Now, as is quite typical with this kind of training, we need to look at some example. So in terms of identifying the issue, there are three things that I want to say about it, really. You need to think about the main issue of the question. So you need to read carefully that first part of the question and understand the main issue. Avoid copying. So it is quite tempting to just copy what is written in the question because, of course, the whole situation is described quite clearly. Well, you cannot do that. You have to put the issue into your own words. And as I said earlier, avoid supporting points. These are not part of the introduction. Certainly reasons and ideas are important, but they come in the main paragraphs. Okay, so let's look at an example question. So here is the situation. In some countries, the average weight of people is increasing and their levels of health and fitness are decreasing. What do you think are the main causes of these problems and what measures could be taken to solve them? Okay, so the first thing, as we talked about in the session on brainstorming ideas, is to look at the key words. What are the key words? And you can see that we've got words like weight, health, fitness, increasing, and decreasing. Weight of people is increasing, health and fitness are decreasing. So really the issue is about the falling standards of health, and therefore you'd write a sentence that describes the issue, something like this. Good health is the most valuable asset a person can have. Unfortunately, it seems many people are facing a deterioration in this essential area. So this basically states the issue in different language there. Okay, let's look at example number 2 now. Today, the sales of popular consumer goods reflect the power of advertising and the real needs of the society in which they are sold. To what extent do you agree or disagree? So once again, look at the key words and think, well, what kind of issue is given by these key words and how can I rewrite it in my own language? Keywords here might be the power of advertising and the real needs of the society. So this question is about how powerful advertising is and whether this is a good thing or a bad thing. So you might have an issue statement that reads like this. Shopping seems to be a national hobby in many countries, and it is driven by advertising. Everywhere we go, we are exposed to promotion messages in some form. It is important to assess whether all this advertising actually produces a positive service. So that is possible. Again, there are many ways to describe the issue, but as long as you are staying close to the idea given in the question, then that's what you need to do. Okay, so we've talked about identifying the issue. Then you need to include a thesis statement. So what is a thesis statement? Basically, there are two parts to this thesis statement. Number one, tell the reader about the content of your essay. And number two, give your general opinion. So once again, let's look at some examples here of a thesis statement. So we have the same question from the previous example. In some countries, the average weight of people is increasing and their levels of health and fitness are decreasing. What do you think are the causes of these problems and what measures could be taken to solve them? So here your thesis statement is going to tell the content. This essay will offer some explanations as to why people are suffering from declining health and suggest ways in which they can rectify the situation. And this is really in response to the question which says, what are the causes? What measures could be taken? So the thesis statement refers back to those particular questions. And then the second part says, it will be argued that it is within the power of everyone to be in a state of health and vitality. So that is the general opinion there. And you can see that that makes up the thesis statement. It tells the reader what your essay is about and the opinion or position taken in the essay. So let's look at an example, because we need, in one paragraph, you need to combine a statement of the issue followed by your thesis statement. So here is one for this same example. Good health is the most valuable asset a person can have. Unfortunately, it seems many people are facing a deterioration in this essential area. This essay will offer some explanations as to why people are suffering from declining health and suggest ways in which they can rectify the situation. It will be argued that it is within the power of everyone to be in a state of health and vitality. So there you go. That is an example of a whole introduction. Just remember, state the issue or the problem in your own words. Tell the reader what is in your, how your essay is structured, and then give them the general opinion. And you have a very nice introduction that is going to start your essay off very well. And in fact, just a reminder to close this session, if you start well, you finish well. Write a strong introduction and you're going to create a great first impression with the examiner who is reading your essay and increase your chances of a higher score. So that's it about introductions, and I would suggest that the next video you watch would be about how to write the main paragraph of your task 2.